Hello and welcome back everyone to a portal to StarCraft, and today's episode is one that's very much anticipated. We're talking about all things micromanagement tricks and what you can do to improve your overall gameplay using these techniques to get the most out of every single unit that you produce within a match of StarCraft 2. So for the starting of this video, I'm going to keep this one pretty short, not going into it too much just yet. We're going to be getting into the face cam stuff very shortly. But I'd just like to say, if you do enjoy this video, please subscribe to the channel and check out some of the other videos within the Portal to StarCraft playlist, because there is a lot of content there that will hopefully help you guys all out. And the last thing is, if you do enjoy what you see next to the subscribe button is that little bell icon. Hit that button and be part of the notification squad. You will be in a great company. But for today, guys, we're going to get into this video. You're going to be looking at my beautiful face for the next few minutes, and I will see you learning how to become better at StarCraft 2 in a Portal to StarCraft micromanagement tutorial. See you there. So welcome into the game. We've just loaded up into our micro tester, and we're just going to test out some things and show you guys how to do certain techniques in order to maximize your unit potential within a game before they die themselves. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Blink Micro. So let's load in. Okay, so I've loaded in 2 squads of Stalkers, and I've loaded in 2 squads of Marines and 1 of Marauders. And look how close this fight goes in terms of just everything within this. This is me not touching any of the units. Here we go. Hit attack. Hands off the keyboard. Here, watch this. As you can see, the Marauders are able to get as much focus fire as they can down on top of the Stalkers. And Marauders 1-for-1 just shred through Stalkers left, right, and center. Just easily. These are unupgraded units, completely unupgraded. And then the Stalkers are actually, well, they should pretty much come out on top. They should. This is weird. Anyway, so not quite what I had in plan, but the Stalkers ended up winning with 1 guy left. But if we just do a little bit of just Blink Micro here. So the idea of Blink Micro is to look at the damaged units, and you want to blink them behind the rest of your forces as fast as you can. So you just keep blinking them back, so then the ones with full HP and full shields end up moving forward to take that damage. So if you can if you're really good at Blink Micro, you'll wait until the shield's depleted and then blink back, so then they lose no health. But we'll do our best, and yeah, we'll try what we can do here. And that way you just maximize the amount of DPS and amount of survivability that they have. So here we go. So we're attacking in, we're just gonna watch them. 1 goes low, 1 goes low, 1 goes low, 1 went down there unfortunately, 1 goes low. Keep blinking them back. Just keep wait until they get low. And just keep moving them backwards. Keep moving that one back. That one needs to move back. That one's low, and look at that. A little bit of Blink Micro, and that 1 guy left ended up turning into, what's that, 7 left. Easy, easy, easy. I'll show you one more time. So we're just going to blink 1 back, we'll blink 2 back, we'll blink 3 back. As soon as 1 gets low, just keep, as soon as the shields are depleted, just keep blinking them backwards, just keep them alive as long as humanly possible. And as you can see here, we are going to shred through that little bit of a Terran army. Blink forward, take them down. Easy, easy, easy. Basics of Blink Micro right there. Blink behind your main forces. Okay, so the next one is all about Baneling versus Marine Micro. And we know Banelings shred through bio like there is no tomorrow. So we're going to show you how to keep your bio alive as long as possible. And this is all in the way of splitting units up. So I'm just going to play this out before. These Banelings have centrifugal hooks, so they're able to move hella fast along the ground. So we're just going to see how quickly they just shred through this bio force. Here we go. And everything's dead. We got 1 Marine left. Survive Marine. But if we just do a little bit of micro and just keep them alive for a little bit longer, watch how this goes now. Split them up. Make sure everything's split. Oh, they stop attacking. Attack. Here we go. And as soon as you start to split your units up, you can start just keeping them alive for a little bit longer. Here we go. And now I've got a lot more left. And literally the technique for splitting is just to grab a bunch and make... So if I've got... Let's see if I can keep these guys alive. Just say they're walking into an army. You want to select a group, move them away. Select a group, move them away. Select a group, move them away. And just keep moving little groups, oh god, little groups of the units in the opposite direction to the rest of the army. And that way you just split them right up, get them all out of the way, and you keep them alive as long as possible. So I'll just show you how to do that again. Here we go. We're going to attack in. We're going to split, 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 attack in, split, split. That was a bit of a bad split actually. That was my mistake. But we're going to keep 4 alive there. So that was not great splits. and we still kept them alive. The other thing you can do, especially with Terran, is you can pre-split, and that's a really, really good way to engage on top of creep. Pre-split so the banelings can only get a certain amount. So if I do this and I pre-split like a bee, see I've got a big clump there, I can aim move the banelings in and watch this. They will just get nothing done. Look at that. I kept all those guys alive just from pre-splitting. So if you're going on to creep with Terran units, pre-split. Okay, the next thing I want to go over is just drop mechanics. This is something I didn't learn until a little bit further on down the track. I wasn't sure how to technically drop efficiently, and there's two ways to drop. The first way, I'm just going to load in one medevac here. So I've got a couple Marines, I'm just going to load in what we've got, move the rest away for a little while, and we'll worry about them in a bit. But for these guys here, there's 8 Marines loaded in this medevac. The first way you can unload, and I have my unload button set to R, is I can click R. As you see, my cursor changes. I can hit the location. The medevac will fly to that location, and we'll start dropping off at that point, which is great. And that's what it'll do. Here we go. We're landing, and we're just... There's a little bug there. I don't know what's happened, but there we go. So we landed in the location and it dropped. I don't know what that little bug there was. And that's one way to do it. So that means the medevac will continue to move by the path, get to the point, and then unload at the point. And that's great, but to maximize your drop potential, I would recommend doing this other technique. So we're going to load back into the medevac here. And this is the one where you unload as you're moving across. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually start the medevac moving. We're going to hit R, and then after we click R, we're going to left click on the medevac to begin dropping in a straight line. So here we go. So we right click, we click R, click on the medevac, and we'll start dropping all the units in a straight line. And this is how you just get units everywhere into your opponent's bases. And this is how I do it now. I don't even use the first technique anymore unless I'm doing a specific style of drop. This is such a good way to do it. So yeah, would recommend doing that style. And if you do have more than one medevac set up, this is why do I have the second one here. It's gonna load back in. So we have one dude left. Oh well, that's okay. So if we got 2 guys here now, and we have to actually click on both. So now we have to right click, hit R, hit R again and click, and then we'll start unloading both. Why is it doing that? And unloading both of these. This one's got some bug going on here. Hang on. Let's try it one more time. Alright, you can have these in the same group. That's all good. And we just do that, and we'll start unloading. This one medevac's got a bug, I swear. I don't know what it's doing, but that's okay. That's how it's done. So you literally just fly on in, you hit R and unload everything like that in a straight line, no matter how many it is. You can have the medevacs all in one hotkey group together, and you just keep hitting R and keep clicking on all the different ones, and they'll just start all unloading in a giant swarm inside the main base of your opponent to their demise, pretty much. Alright, the next one here is one that's really, really important if you're going to start using Mutalisks. So as you see, when you fly Mutalisk around, as funny as that looks actually, look at that. That looks hilarious. They're like bunched up all like winging and stuff. But you can bunch Mutalisk up like this when you're flying around, and then you come across a Thor, or you come across a Widow Mine. And you know Widow Mines ruin your day, and Mutalisks don't particularly like them as such. So what we could do with Mutalisks is something called magic boxing. And this is literally, or it's a similar technique, is we're going to literally, just as we're attacking in, we're moving around in a big group. As you're flying around, hit hold position and watch what they do. They just spread right on out and to give the most space in between each Mutalisk as possible. And this is really, really important. So if I give an example, watch this. Okay, so I got them all bunched up on top of these Thors. Watch how fast they go down. 2 volleys and all those 15 mutas just shredded. But if we do this, fly on top and magic box, we get as much distance between them as possible, and look how much longer they last. And just having that magic box, we fly on top of the Thors and we just do as much damage as possible. And look, they're still fighting there. They just haven't got quite as much splash damage as they could possibly do. And to furthermore do that is you can start splitting them as well and focus firing while you split. If I really wanted to go all out with this, watch what I can do. So I can go like that, and I can fight around, fine, whatever. Fly on top of these Thors, magic box, and then start focus firing. Focus firing. And I think I'll end up winning this fight too, so every time you focus fire, just keep using the magic box technique and make sure that you don't lose any of these mutas. So as soon as I focus fire, I'll readjust, and then the Mutalisk will actually come out on top here. Look how much difference that made right there. Easy, easy, easy stuff. Little things to keep in mind. So that there also was a big representation of focus fire. When you have a big group of units in a control group or grouped up when you're selecting them around, moving them all at once, focus firing particular units down are key, especially when it comes to things like immortals. If you're versing immortals And Blink Stalkers, if you have Blink Stalkers yourself, you need to get rid of the opponent's Immortals because Immortals will just destroy you. So focus firing as much attention as you can on the biggest threat first is really important in order to get over it, because that's just prioritizing focus firing and, you know, prioritizing what needs to go down first. What I see a lot of people do, especially when you're in the lower leagues, is one, use the select all army command. Very rarely do we ever use that command whenever you're playing competitively. Avoid it to all costs because you will ruin your day more times than one. Unbind it. Completely unbind the select whole army hotkey. Get rid of it. You don't want it. You don't need it very often. I have mine set to spacebar, but I use it maybe like once every 12 games because I've got units everywhere and I just need to get everything in. So that's just literally the only time I use it. But when it does come to selecting units, I see a lot of lower level players do this. See how I'm making like this monstrous sized box here? Like, I mean, uncannily big. You don't need to do it that big. There's no reason for it. What I would recommend is just box where you need to box. Just that there. Because if you had units sitting up in this corner, or up here, or down here, or over here, and you have inaccurate boxing, you will select all of those units together and move your screen around, which is not the funnest of things. And you'll start moving too much around your screen at once, and that's not what you want to happen. So get in the habit of making small, flicky boxes. You can flick from... Literally, I used to practice back when I first started playing. I used to practice boxing from every corner. And I mean, I would split units up like so. I've got them all following each other. But I would split units up like so, and I'd box, box, box. And you think about going from the center of your screen. Box, box. So from the center. So I go down, down, up, 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 down, down. Down, down. I prefer to flick down from the top left to the bottom right, and that's just probably the more comfortable way to box for me. It's just the easiest way to do it personally, and I would recommend doing that, whatever's more comfortable for you, but don't do these big boxes unless you want to select, for example, what is on the screen now, which is just a big cluster of units that you want to bring back together. But if you can, box small boxes that are accurate. See, I'm just reaching all the units inside the box that I'm trying to get, and that's literally just practice. Practice doing it, practice that mouse accuracy, so you're not going to be spamming too much. And the last thing is get in the habit of clicking accurately as well. So if I've got these two roaches right here, if I want to move one and not the other, I wouldn't box one roach. I would click on one roach. And this is a skill in itself that is imperative to improving in StarCraft. Oh, I see I misclicked there. So that's imperative in itself. So if I want to move one guy out at a time, click one move, 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 click move, click move, click move. And you just practice accurately clicking. And this will improve your mouse accuracy indefinitely, because clicking accurately when it comes to like heavy micro with like storms and other stuff where hotkey micro doesn't become as important. You need to be able to click accurately, flick around the screen and click, flick, click, flick, click, whatever you need. And to practice this, it's really, really simple to practice. When you start a game, you know how you've got that dead time in between in the first like 3 minutes where you're just chilling, you're not doing too much in terms of multitasking and stuff. Your drones or your workers, literally just click on them. As they're mining here and there, just click, 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 click on all those little drones going back and forth, and just keep clicking on them. Don't have to move them anywhere, but just keep selecting them to keep that, you know, that accuracy of clicking up. All right, and the last thing I wanted to talk about was hotkey optimization and how to hotkey units efficiently. So as we can see in the bottom part of my screen, so right now I've got every unit here hotkey to number 1. And as you see on the bottom part of my screen, all the High Templar come first, because they're on the top of the unit priority list. And that means that when I select all these units, so if I deselect them, or I can't deselect them, but if I do deselect them and I just pick one and I reselect that hotkey group, a High Templar will be the first abilities I can use, and I haven't researched Storm. So they're here and they're chilling and they are first. And then if I tab, I then have my sentries, and then if I tab again, I then have my Blink Stalkers. So what's imperative, especially Protoss. Protoss is very, very spellcaster heavy and micro intensive in that regard, so being able to do this efficiently is really important. But what I like to do is my really important spellcast units, so in this case that will be the High Templar, I will actually split off from the main force and hotkey them to 2, so then I can keep them at the front or at the back of the army. What I will do though is I will actually keep moving them around with everything with a big select. So I've just boxed everything and I'm moving them around easily. But as soon as I get into a micro situation, I can move in and I can start moving these guys around separately. I can drop down my force fields and I can keep microing these guys around, drop swarms wherever I need to, and then I can hotkey around and do that. And this means that, ooh, I didn't even do that. But that means if I can do this, when I engage a fight, I've got my High Templar by themselves. I can blink my Stalkers, I can force field, and all the rest of it, and then move all the way out at the same time, because all I need to do to access my sentry is just hit 1 now, because now they're on the top of the priority list. Microing Blink Stalkers is a situation of single unit micro. You don't micro in big chunks often, and if you do, you just control click and then blink out of the way. Pretty easy. So the stuff you need to micro efficiently and quickly, you need to make sure they're on the top of the unit priority list, so then you can access them fast. So for example, sentries being in the main army hotkey group, because they are on top of the priority list. And then it's the High Templar completely alone, so you can put them on top of their priority list. And this is in the way of, you know, disruptors, lurkers, ravagers sometimes if you want to, but they're not too important. Vipers, swarm host. What else? Infestors. Do not put on your infestors in the main army hotkey. You'll hurt yourself so bad and so many times. But yeah, that's just a general micro introduction of how there's some techniques there of what to do, how to just micro in general. Lingbane micro is a very similar one to the Marine Baneling micro that I did earlier. Splitting up units, focus firing things down, things like that. So Lingbane, it's very similar to that. But I'm going to leave that one there for today, guys. If you did enjoy the video, please hit that like button or subscribe. It does help out a ton if you like support further than YouTube. In the description down below is my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Check them all out, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.